Dobar dan. This is Josh Friedman in Belgrade, Serbia. Today is November 7th, 2016, which makes it one day away from Election Day in the United States of America. Here in Serbia, there are strong sentiments against Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton and quite a lot of support for Republican challenger Donald Trump. Momentarily, I will cut to interview footage delving into those sentiments, but first, let me give you a glimpse of the remains of the former Yugoslav Defense Ministry building. The building splits the street here in the heart of Belgrade. On this side, the remains are covered by a Serbian military recruitment poster. This building was hit by a NATO airstrike that was called for by then-President Bill Clinton in 1999 when he decided to bomb Yugoslavia to drive the Serb forces out of Kosovo. As a result of the NATO bombing, the Clinton name is tarnished here in Serbia, and coincidentally, prior to running for president, Donald Trump was reportedly in talks about turning this building into a hotel. For years, there have been discussions about finally tearing down the ruined former Yugoslav Defense Ministry and turning it into something that is more pleasant to look at. But for now, the ruins remain here in the heart of Belgrade, and to everyone walking by, it serves as a reminder of the NATO airstrikes. Alright, now I am going to cut to footage delving into those Serbian sentiments on the US elections. At the European Students for Liberty conference in Belgrade, I am speaking with Aleksandar Kokotovic, who is the director of the European Students for Liberty organization. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. It's been a great conference so far. A lot of people, more than 200, 220 still incoming. So in general, everything is great. Our fifth conference here in Belgrade, which became kind of a tradition. So really happy to see all these students. We have a huge international crowd, more than 40 international students. So very happy about that as well.
I want to get a little into U.S. politics and how they relate to Serbia. I don't know if you heard, but there's an election coming up on Tuesday, and there's a familiar name on the ballot. That name is Clinton. And can you tell me a little bit about the image and the legacy of the Clintons in Serbia?
Right. I mean, it's a difficult question. We were just discussing this a little bit earlier about are Serbians majorly supporting Trump or Clinton or this and that. And I've heard from a few people that have kind of came across a lot of pro-Trump sentiment amongst Serbian people. And I mean, that usually, at least from my experience and from the people that I've talked about, comes as a way of just spite against the Clintons, which do have a huge history here in the Balkans, especially looking at first the Yugoslav wars and the involvement of the United States, at least perceived by the Serbian public, and then of course the wars of '99, the NATO aggression on Serbia, during which time Bill Clinton was the president of the United States. It kind of caused that the last name Clinton does not really have a good legacy in Serbian language and amongst the majority of Serbian population. So looking through, for instance, some of the media that was coming out in the weeks before the elections coming up, it was very interesting to follow and to see what kind of reactions and what kind of interviews and what kind of publications were out there. And one of the most famous ones was actually later turned out to be a plagiarized article that was basically saying that Trump is apologizing for the war of '99. And if you look at it, I think that in a lot of ways, what is going on there is a battle for the huge Serbian diaspora that lives, of course, Serbian, Croatian, and Bosnian diaspora living in the United States. We've been seeing this in terms of specifically the Republican Party having a traditional relations with a lot of Serbian diaspora organizations. For instance, we could see that as even a Serbian radical extreme right party had the demonstrations where they were walking with T-shirts that say "Vote for Trump." So I think that if we look at that from the extreme right wing, in terms of the American elections, a lot of nationalists or worse support Trump. And even if we will look at the public discourse, I would say that the majority of Serbians does not really associate, to come back to your question, the name Clinton with something nice.